Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Happy Thursday. I feel like I don't know what to do with this tripod. Okay, I had it up and then it was like too high, and now I feel like it's like cutting the top of my head off. Is that good? Are we good? Are we good? Okay, are we good? How are you guys doing today? Okay, so I'm sitting in this chair because when I sat in that chair, it felt like it was getting really dark outside already. It looks like it's gonna pour down rain. But now I'm sitting in this chair, it seems rather bright outside. So I'm like, I mean, it's still early. It's just like right at 5 o'clock right now. Let's do a little time and temperature check, shall we? It is currently 5:06 p.m. and the temperature is, I'm hoping it doesn't start, it's been raining off and on all day today. I'm hoping that it doesn't start like pouring down rain, because I really want to get my walk in tonight, because, wait, who's texting me? I really want to get my walk in tonight because it's beautiful today. Well, not beautiful, like the rain is not beautiful, but like the temperature wise, it's really nice. Yeah, it's 59 degrees outside. Can you believe it? So as soon as I get done with my vlog, and are we getting a package? Oh my God, are we getting a package? As soon as I get done with my vlog and I get it rendered, I'm gonna go on my walk. Is it supposed to rain? I didn't look at that. Hold on a second. People always use, oh, it looks like rain. Rain possible around 5:15 p.m. It looks kind of heavy. Well, this is what I'm looking at right now, this little radar map. Okay, let's see hourly. Oh, it shows rain from 11 p.m. to like 5 a.m. What's it supposed to be tomorrow? Windy with evening showers evolving to a steady soaking rain overnight. Tomorrow, 61, rain showers early with overcast skies later in the day. So tomorrow I can walk. Somebody said we're supposed to get a winter storm on Saturday. I looked earlier. Was it last night that I looked? Because somebody said something about a winter storm coming. I didn't know if it was like, I couldn't tell if it was like a joke. Because I think it was on my Peterisms video that I called like big changes coming or something like that. And they said something about like big storms coming or something. I was like, is it a joke? Like, I don't understand. So I looked at the weather. This was last night. I looked at the weather and I looked at, because they said Saturday or something about that. And it says considerable cloudiness with occasional rain showers 43. But that's not like a winter storm. Are we supposed to get a winter storm on Saturday? I don't know. But look, it just gave me hold on a second. It gave me an ad for Candy Crush. But anyway, how are you guys doing today? I just made a cup of coffee. I made a cup of coffee earlier in the day, which I don't usually do, but I had therapy today. So I was like, I'm gonna have a cup of coffee for, oh, I almost spilled it. I made a cup of coffee for therapy, and I only drank like a third of it, and so it just sat there and got lukewarm. And you can't warm up the metal cups. I know that, okay? You can't put that in the microwave. I know people be like, Peter, you should have taken the coffee out and put it in a skillet and put it on the stove. Like, no. I love when people give me recommendations like that. Like, they're like, Peter, have you ever thought about like, I'm just thinking of an example. Like, let me make like a really exaggerated, example. Like, like I like buy like, what's that? Nice to see you. That's Pool Crew Lady number 2's husband. He was like, good to see you. And there's Walter, because he heard him. But anyway, and there's Otis. So anyway, like if I bought like one pumpkin and it like turned sour, there'll be the one comment where people are like, no, you should save the pumpkin and take out all the seeds, and then next year you should plant the seeds for the pumpkins, and then in 10 years you'll have your own pumpkins and you can save $2 on a pumpkin because you won't have to buy it. I'm like, no, I'm just gonna spend the $10 on a pumpkin, whatever. I actually kind of like that idea. But did I tell you guys one year I did plant pumpkin seeds out here? So one year I got real wild. I did. I got real wild, and I wanted to have like, this is so funny because I was so worried that the HOA was going to totally come for me if I did this, but I wanted like big sunflowers like through the walkway over here where the hostas are. I was like, I want big sunflowers that are like 6 feet high, and then I want pumpkins going through it. I think it was the year that I read, oh, he's stopping like right past our house. Maybe I'm getting is he reversing? Sounds like he's reversing. I think it was a year that I read the Rainbow Rowell graphic novel Pumpkinheads, which takes place at a pumpkin farm. If you've never read that graphic novel, and you like Rainbow Rowell, I would highly recommend it. It's about 2 friends, and they've worked at this pumpkin patch like their entire, like every year of high school, and it's their like senior year. It's their last Halloween working at this pumpkin patch. It's fantastic. It's not paranormal. It's not weird, scary, anything like that. It's just about these 2 kids, like their last night working at this pumpkin patch. It's called Pumpkinheads. It's by Rainbow Rowell. It's fantastic. Anyway, what's funny about this story is that the gardener, my neighbor across the street, she now has like 2 sunflowers that are like 6 feet high. She don't give a F. She don't care. She's like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But I was so worried about it that I was like, should I plant them out back? Because they used to walk out back, like all the HOA people, her grandma and stuff, and they'd be like, these plants aren't like, they need to be 2 feet back. I was like, if I plant sunflowers back there, they're gonna make me haul them up too, right? So I ended up just planting pumpkin seeds. I was so excited about it. I honest to God thought I was gonna have, I think I just did it on that side. I honest to God thought I was gonna have an entire pumpkin patch out here. I really did. I know I've talked about this on here before. I thought I was gonna have like 20 pumpkins, and it was gonna look so pretty because it was gonna like just be like natural pumpkins, you know, like growing in the wild, but that was gonna be like for Halloween, right? I was gonna leave them out there for Halloween. I was so excited about it. Okay, when I've shared this story before, people have told me, like, I've either gotten people that have said the exact same thing happened to them that happened to me, or people have said, that's so weird that happened to you because we got tons of pumpkins. Okay, I didn't get tons of pumpkins. I'll tell you what I got. If you plant pumpkin seeds, okay, I don't know if I planted like the ones I got from a pumpkin or if I actually bought pumpkin seeds. I feel like I bought pumpkin seeds. I don't remember though. But anyway, through the hostas and through all this stuff over there, grew this pumpkin twine, okay? That's kind of like the gourd, like not the gourd, the top of the pumpkin, do you know what I'm talking about? It was kind of like that texture and that thickness, and it grew all the way through there, and it like destroyed everything in its way. It was like this like pumpkin vine, and we ended up at the very end of it, I think it was like right over here, at the very end of it, there was like this one pumpkin, and it looked more like a green gourd. That's what I meant to say. It looked more like a green gourd, and it was like this big. I remember Alex laughed so hard at me. I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, I wanted all these pumpkins. And Alex would always, like, whenever we walked out, he'd be like, there's your pumpkin. It literally took like out everything in its way. So then I had to go out there, and I had to like pull this vine. I mean, it was thick, and it was like all through the, anyway, it was a mess. So I'm not doing pumpkins ever again, but it was a cute idea. But I wanted to do like sunflowers and have like tons of them, you know, like you just come over and be like, ah, Sunflower City, like children on the corn. But anyway, so earlier I had therapy, and I made this coffee. I already said this, and I only drank like the third of it. So I was like, I'm gonna make another cup of coffee. Earlier I had the Cafe Bustelo. I actually, before I made this cup of coffee, I threw it out because it was like cold and whatever. Like I said, you can't put these in the microwave. I know. Oh, that's how I got to this whole story. Because so one person will be like, Peter, take the coffee out and put it in a pot on the stove and more. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting it in the microwave. I know not to do that. It's just throw it out. But I actually was standing there, and I was like, you just completely wasted a K-pot of Cafe Bustelo, because it was Cafe Bustelo. This is the Cafe Lavazzo, or just Lavazzo, or whatever. And this is the caramel biscotti, I think is what it is. Anyway, it's kind of hard right now because in my drawers, I'm gonna do a video of like my best purchases of 2025, which I have just 2 of them right now. One of them is gonna be the drawers. But those K-Pod drawers, I'm like obsessed with them. I fill them all the time. Who's texting me? Oh, Alex is. Hold on, he's telling me he's gonna be home in 15 minutes. Okay. Did you say 15 or 5? So Alex thought he was gonna be off early today, and then he was gonna go to Costco and get some stuff. He was gonna do this yesterday, but he ended up doing it today. And then he ended up having to stay at work. So I called him, because it was like 4:30, and he like still hadn't left work. And so when I called him, he had like just left, and he sounded so tired. I said, are you okay? He goes, babe, I am so tired. He goes, I still have to run to Costco. And I said, we can just do it tomorrow. He's like, no, because he's going to get an IV with his mom tomorrow, and then they're going to go have lunch, which works out perfect for me because I can film. I didn't film a lot today. It's hard on the days that I have therapy, because I have them at 2, And then I get done at 3, and Alex told me he was going to be done early, so I thought he'd be home. So I was like, okay, I just won't film a lot today. I filmed a drama video, and I filmed... Oh, I watched The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia last night. I've seen it so many times, but I watched it again last night, and I did a movie review of it on my movie channel. I felt completely different about that documentary this time watching it than I did last time. But anyway, those are the only 2 videos that I filmed. So tomorrow, because I want to do like, well, it's not my top 10, it's my top 15 shows of the year of 2025 before it gets too into January. I don't think I did this last year on my BookTube channel, so I want to make sure I do it. And my top 15 books on my BookTube channel. I already have it typed up. It's not going to be in any specific order. I just know that those videos are going to take me a while because I'm going to have to like insert screenshots into each one of like the covers and the posters. So I'm hoping to do those tomorrow. I still have not watched the premiere of 1,000 Pound Sisters because today, before I knew Alex was going to come home early, I was going to do my top shows of 2025. So I was like, I'll watch it tonight, but I'll probably watch it tomorrow and then do it on Saturday. I'm going to film this weekend because I kind of, like today, I didn't film that much. But anyway, he said, he was like, I am so tired. And I said, well, you can just relax. I said, I'm going to take my walk and then I'm going to read I'm so into this. Oh my God. That Kindle book, Last Mom Standing. Okay, so it does get kind of zombie-ish. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but I texted Nikki last night. I was like, it does get kind of, well, they call them zombies, but they're not really zombies. So it's called a cozy apocalyptic book. I showed it on here yesterday. It's called Last Mom Standing. I'm like halfway through it. I love it. I'm obsessed with this book. There's only one of them out. I thought the second one was like a sequel to it, but it's not. Like, and it comes out at the end of this month. It's a completely different story. So I don't know if this story is going to go on or if it's just going to wrap up completely by the end. I have no idea. It doesn't feel like the kind of story that's going to wrap up. It feels like the kind of story that's going to continue to go on. But I said, babe, you can go to bed early, you can relax, or whatever you want to do. I said, tonight I am just going to like watch shows and relax. Last night, when I got back from my walk, we watched Salt Lake City. Okay, I'm just saying this for my Salt Lake City Real Housewives people out there. I won't get into a long thing about it. The problem is, people are like, why don't you do Housewives reviews on your TV channel? When I do, nobody really watches them. Not a lot of people are real interested. Unless you're like a dedicated Bravo channel, people don't really care. But can I just tell you that Salt Lake City, that franchise knows what they're doing. Like, they know how to bring it like no other season. Like the Monica Garcia ending when they were like on the beach, that whole thing. And then last year, the way that it ended. I mean, every ending. Did you guys hear that Andy Cohen walks off the reunion because they're fighting so much? I mean, that's kind of what you want from the Housewives, right? Well, last night was this week, we watched it last night, but it was on Monday, was the finale of Salt Lake City. And they're on this trip to Greece because her dad's Greek and her mom's Greek. And so she's trying to get her Greek citizenship. So she takes all the girls there on a trip. It's gorgeous. Well, the last night, they meet with this woman during the day. They each meet with this woman, and like she asks some of these questions about the women in the group, and then she turns it into a play, like a Greek tragedy. And so then they have to watch it. It is so hard to watch. Like, it was really painful to watch. That, and then they like get into all the, I mean, Meredith is like, the way they approached her was so fantastic too, because Mary's like, why are we all friends if we can't talk to each other? Like, and no, I haven't watched the Mary documentary. Apparently she put out a statement and said, if you want to believe the lies, believe the lies. I don't know. I'm going to watch it. It's on my list. I have so many shows to watch, you guys, right now that I can't keep up. And I'm trying to read all this at the same time, take my walks and, you know, listen to my books. I just want to spend a whole week just watching shows and reading books. That's all I want to do. But anyway, but then I get up and I'm like, I want to film all these videos. And so I start filming. But anyway, Mary was so good on the episode last night because she was like, if we're not friends, if we don't like each other, then what are we doing hanging out together? If we can't, because we can't even tell Meredith that we're worried about her. So they won't any of them tell Meredith that they're worried about her. And so Meredith comes back. She always runs off somewhere, goes to the bathroom. And so she comes back and she's pissed. And Mary's like, we're worried about you, Meredith. Like, we're all worried about you. And she does it in such a kind way, like as a friend. I was really impressed with how Mary handled the whole situation. And Meredith runs off again, and her and Heather are getting this huge fight, and Lisa's shouting. I mean, it's how you want the show to be. I mean, I just was kind of like, so I cannot wait to watch the reunion next week. But then after that, Alex was really tired. He's like, I want to go to bed. I said, can we please finish Loot? So we finished Loot season 3 last night. It was good. It was funny because I was texting Mel about it. She's like, what the hell is Loot? I said, it's a comedy on Apple. And she goes, but you don't like comedies. I go, I don't like comedies, but Alex and I have been watching it together. I'm not a big comedy person, like a sitcom person. I mean, when I was growing up, yeah, I loved watching Roseanne with my mom. But like, I'm not, like my mom loved Will and Grace. She always tried to get me to watch it. I don't know why, but Alex loves Friends. Like when we're on vacation, we'll watch a couple episodes of Friends. I think it's funny. I think it's cute. But like when we first started watching it together, it was on a work trip that he had a conference, and then we would watch it at night. And I was like, when I come back, I'm going to watch all of Friends. Like I'm just going to binge watch it. And I think I watched like an episode or two, and I didn't really have the desire to binge watch it. It's not, I mean, I like it when we're watching. It's fun when Alex and I are watching it together and he knows all the lines. He's watched it so many times. And when we were in Florida last year, I think he was like, oh, because it would come on. It would be like a Friends marathon every night on TV when we get back from Ultra. So we would like order room service and then we would watch Friends. And so the episode came on and he was like, oh, this is the very last episode of Friends ever. So we watched it and I was like, I can't believe it's over. And then he was like, and it started another episode, and he goes, this is the very first episode of Friends. So I've seen the first and the last episode ever. I think my favorite episodes, I mean, I've watched enough of them now, but I know, like, the characters, and I, know everything. I've watched enough of it that I know that much about Friends, but, like, I don't know it like other people know it. Like, Designing Women, Golden Girls, like, I know those shows. Roseanne, I know that show. Like, I've watched every episode of all 3 of those shows, those sitcoms. They have to be kind of like, a sitcom for me has to be real endearing. Like Alex would say Friends is, but like Schitt's Creek, I love Schitt's Creek. And it's a sitcom. But it's very endearing too. Like, I mean, they grow and change. I mean, that scene in Schitt's Creek where they go to their anniversary dinner and their old friends show up there with their new friends. I mean, that is just like, that is television writing gold, that scene. I just love that scene so much. And then they go dance in the barn, all of them together. But anyway, it was funny because Mel's like, you don't really usually like shows like that. And I was like, I don't. I really don't. Loot is fantastic. Maya Rudolph is in it. If you've never seen Loot, it's on Apple. 3 seasons conclusive, but like there's going to be probably another season. Maya Rudolph plays a billionaire that has gone through a divorce. The guy she was married to is the guy from Severance. I don't know his name. He's in a ton of stuff. And then the gal from Pose, that was the house mother, she runs the Wells Foundation, which is for homeless people. And so Molly Wells is Maya Rudolph. And then her assistant is gay. I can never remember his name. He was in that movie Fire Island. The dogs are chasing each other inside. Oh, here I was like, why are they by the door? Because Alex just came home. Well, so anyway, but we finished that last night. So it's about this billionaire. And she's trying to, like, give back to the community. They are so excited that he is home. Trying to give back to the community. But now in season 3, she's trying to, like, tell the billionaires they need to give all their money away. Anyway, it's interesting. It kind of follows, like, things that are happening in the world currently. But it's good. And it's very endearing, too. But we finished that last night. I was so thankful to be done with that. Because Traitors is starting. Anyway, let me go check in with him, and I will be back in 2 and 2. Where am I at on time really quick before I go in? Hold on. Okay, I'll be back in 2 and 2. Okay, I'm back. Poor guy. He looks so tired. I feel so bad for him. I was like, what are you going to do? He was like, I'm going to go upstairs and lay in bed and roll through, doom scroll through TikTok is what he calls it. Does everybody call it doom scrolling? I don't even really know what that means. He's explained it to me like 3 times. I don't know if I really listen when he explains it to me. I don't get that. It was funny because, well, I actually am thinking about doing a whole video about this, although nobody will care on my drama channel. Because I was talking to, so when I have my therapy sessions, like the first 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's always just like, how you been, blah, 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 whatever. So he was asking me today, he was like, well, what are you going to make videos about today? Well, I originally on my drama channel, I was going to do, I've just been in such a lighthearted, peaceful mood today. Like, I didn't really want to get into some really dark stuff. And so I was going to do this video on Kevin Franke, Ruby Franke's husband, like, and where he's at today and stuff like that. Because I just watched that Jodi Hildebrand, the evil influencer, the Jodi Hildebrand story on Netflix, and I covered it over on my movie channel the other day. So now all this stuff is popping off again about Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrand and Kevin Franke and the Passenger channel. So I was going to do this video about it. So I was explaining it to him. He had never heard of it. He gets on YouTube and he looks at stuff, he watches stuff. He like kind of like gets interested in something and then he like falls down the rabbit hole, which is what we were talking about. Because he was like, because I was telling him about like the LDS church and stuff like that. He was like, you cover Sister Wives, right? And I was like, yeah, every week. And he was like, but they're not, he goes, they're not part of like the Warren Jeffs thing, right? And I said, no, I believe, as soon as I say this is what I was saying to him. I said, I believe they're part of that Warren Jeffs is the FLDS church. I said, the Sister Wives, the Cody Brown family is actually AUB, which is the Apostolic United Brethren, which I didn't understand for a long time, but it's like a spin-off of the LDS church. Like they believe in polygamy, but their basis and their foundation is in the LDS church. And I said, it's interesting when you start looking into this, like how widespread. And he was like, well, do you know about like Joseph Smith? I said, oh yeah, I know all that about Joseph Smith and all kind of stuff. And I said, it's interesting when you look into the LDS church because I watch so many documentaries that have some spinoff of the LDS church. And I was telling him about when, for the True Crime Book Club, we read the book, I think Mel picked it out, When the Moon Turns to Blood about Lori and Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow. And Chad Daybell, she killed her kids and they were buried on his property. Well, they were part of the LDS church. And I said, but they were like in a spinoff that believed in like psychic connections. It was like some weird spinoff of the LDS church. I'd never heard of it. But part of that book is somebody grilling out. I smell burgers. I was like, what's going on? I was like, I don't have my candle lit. I wonder if my neighbor's grilling it. I wonder if the grillers are grilling across the street. It smells literally like Burger King right now. It smells so good. But anyway, in The Moon Turns to Blood, which I will tell you I thought was kind of a boring book. At that point, I'd seen the documentaries about Lori Vallow and stuff. Disgusting. The whole story makes me sick. I really have a hard time. Well, we read that book after we read the book about Kristen Shanann Watts. That specific case about Chris Watts really screwed with my head. Like, and it wasn't really the book so much that we read, it was the documentary that I watched. But the book describes it, like, graphically, about, like, when he killed Shanann, and she was, like, in the back of his truck, and the little girls in the way, like, he told them that mommy was sick, and they were, like, literally sitting in the back of the truck with, like, their feet on top of their mom, and then he squeezed. It was so horrible. And then, like, I was such a stuffed animal kid. Like, my parents were so sweet. I mean, I still have some of my stuffed animals here today that, like, meant so much to me when I was a little kid. I think I've talked about Yellow Dog before. I still have Yellow Dog here. I'll tell the story about Yellow Dog if you've never heard of it before. But anyway, when I read about... I remember because when we talked about that in the book club, that's when... what's it called? I can't remember what the word is. Something side when you kill the whole family. Nikki, because Nikki was such a huge part of the book club, she was like, can we please not read any more books? Because we had read like 2 books back to back about that. It was another one by the guy that, I like his writing. He was the one that wrote about the woman that killed her best friend and then the kid. But anyway, not patricide, that's when father kills her. Is that what it's called? Anyway, she was like, can we, Family Annihilators. She's like, can we please not read any more of these Family Annihilator books? And I was like, I agree. Like, we couldn't do it anymore. It was too much. That whole Chris Watts thing. I mean, you want to talk about evil. I believe that man's 100% evil. But then when he, like, or smothered his daughter with her own stuffed animal, like, I don't know, like, that just bothered me so much. But the Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow book, like, it goes into... Like, he was really big in the LDS church. So I remember, because I was listening to it, and I was walking down here when I listened to this part. It goes into, like, the pyramid of the LDS church and explains, like, the bishops and stuff. I never had it explained to me. That book, more than anything I've ever watched or read, The Moon Turns to Blood. I wouldn't recommend the book. It's not the greatest book in the world, but it's the best explanation in layman's terms of the setup of the LDS church. The Church, the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's the best description of the Mormon church. Like, the way it explains it, it dumbs it down so easily, like the triangle and all that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't really get it until I read that part in the book. And honestly, like, that part was so boring, but I was really interested in listening to it because, in a way, it explained it so much. So we were talking about it today. And he was like, well, I'd just fallen down this rabbit hole of, like, Warren Jeffs and, like, his victims and things like that. And he was like, you would be really good at interviewing. I said, they're not going to let me do it. I'm not that interested in it. The Warren Jeff stuff disgusts me. So I'm not that interested, like, in knowing more about it. I don't know, like, I was saying this in my drama video today. It's, like, interesting when I say this, because people, like, ask me why I haven't watched the Diddy stuff. Like, in all honesty, like, people will say, like, you can't, like, watch the Diddy stuff, or you have a hard time covering that, but you can watch true crime, like, about, like, serial killers. I don't, to be honest with you, like, I've thought about that so many times. I think it's a really good point. I don't understand the distancing for me. I don't know why I can, like, read about a serial killer that kills 20 people, but, like, all of the sick stuff that happens to these women and kids, like, I can't engage. It's so hard for me to read it. And I was thinking about it today, like, when I was talking my video, and it's like, I've had so many friends of mine in recovery that, like, that has been their truth. That has been their experience, you know? Hey, how are you? Good. That's been their experience. And I'm just like, I don't know, like, I guess I don't know personally that many victims of serial killers. So for me, it seems kind of distant when I watch that stuff, but, so he was like, well, you should do some he's really pushing me to write a cozy mystery. He's like, it would be so good. He was like, I think it would just be a way for you to, like, find, like, you know, you close out for the day, you work on your book for a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So he's really pushing me on the cozy mystery thing. We talked a lot about it today. Well, not a lot, but we talked about it today. Because I kind of, like, when we left marriage counseling, I, like, said something to him about, like, some stuff, and so he brought it up today. But anyway, I had a good therapy session. Did check-ins on, like, the OCD and the anxiety, and we talked about that. And, like, I was telling him about my focusing on positivity as one of my goals for the new year. And I said, I'm really struggling with it. It's like, it's almost like, this is going to sound so crazy, but, like, I did notice this last year with, like, asking myself, what am I giving attention to? Like, what am I giving energy to? The more I ask myself that question, I mean, I think this is, like, with any goal, right? Like, let's say if your goal tomorrow is that you're gonna, I don't know, make the bed every day. You're gonna start realizing how, I mean, I make the bed every single day, but you're gonna notice, like, when you don't ever make the bed, you really notice, like, how little you do that stuff, right? So last year, when I made the goal of, like, what am I giving my energy to? By the way, I was so happy I got to wear this light jacket tonight, because this jacket is not warm for the bitter cold. But I was like, I wanted to wear a different jacket today, and it's so nice outside. I was like, I can wear this. So anyway, last year when I made the goal of, because he and I were, like, reviewing my goals and stuff for last year and today and talking about it, and I noticed, like, I was telling him, like, I noticed that last year, I was kind of laughing about it because it's such a truism, but, like, I noticed last year, like, when I made the goal of, like, what am I giving my energy to, as I would check myself, like, giving energy to things that didn't deserve my energy, I really realized how much energy I give to things that don't. I mean, like, having that as a goal made me realize how much energy I give away to things that don't matter, right? Okay, likewise, this simple goal, plane coming overhead, hold on, coffee break. Take a coffee break with me, or whatever you're drinking. I'm afraid I'm gonna spill coffee on my phone, hold on. Let me tell you the sneaky thing my husband did to me last night in a second. Okay. Well, let me tell you real quick right now. So, last night, we're watching our shows. We've got this TV tray desk. It's behind me if I'm filming the computer. It's where Alex has his setup and stuff when he does his Zoom calls on Friday mornings. And so, like, if one of us is sitting on the couch and we want to eat, like the other one is sitting in the chair, we'll, like, bring that over and eat. So I was sitting there last night and I had, like, my cup, I just made a cup of coffee. I like to set my stuff on there, like, while I'm watching, and then I lay on the couch because he was on the chair. He knows I like to sit on the chair, but, like, recently I've been really liking laying on the couch. I don't know why. I've also loved, like, I'm loving reading in bed and reading my Kindle. It's, like, one of my new favorite things. There's Mr. Walter. He comes shooting at the door. All of a sudden he gets real excited. What are you doing? During my therapy session today, he was asleep in the bed up here, and like 20 minutes into it, I said to my therapist, I was like, I kept on looking over, I was like, hold on a second. I said, I don't know where Otis is. And I went, Otis was asleep in his house. Like, he will go down to his house and sleep. Walter will not go back. Last night, he let me know again when he was ready to go to bed. I took him out, and when I brought him inside, took their stuff off, he ran right downstairs to he was ready to go to bed. But he will not go down there. He reminds me, well, Boo Radley would go down there by himself, but he is kind of I don't know, like, he's kind of a little scaredy cat, a little bit like Boo Radley. It's real sweet, but, so anyway, last night, I could not figure it out to save my life, okay? So, I made a cup of coffee, we had got done with Salt Lake City and we were getting ready to watch Lute. I had made a cup of coffee and it was sitting on the table, okay? The table's wobbly. Like, this is solid, it's wobbly, okay? I mean, it's like a one-sided desk, like a TV tray, like that my grandma had back in the day. So this coffee mug was the coffee mug that I had. Okay, you can see it has like the no skin thing on it. Well, so I got up and I put on my coat and I was getting ready. They're running around, okay? So I said, let me take them out really quick so we can get through the show. I take them out about every 45 minutes. So 45, not 4 to 5. Every 45 minutes to an hour, I take them outside. So they're running around and all this kind of stuff, right? I mean, it was sweet, but I couldn't figure out how to save my life. So I get my coat on, I take them outside, I bring them inside, blah, blah, I'm taking my coat off, and I go and I sit down on the couch. And Alex is like walking around and he's doing stuff. And I noticed that on the table, the cup, and I just put the cup there before we walked outside. I noticed that the cup, like underneath it, it's like wet. And I'm like, is this cup leaking? So I go in the kitchen and I get a paper towel, spray down the table, clean it off. And I'm like, is this leaking? I put it on the paper towel, it's not leaking. Put all it away. I come back in the living room, he's still not out there yet to watch the show. And I notice that underneath the table, it's like wet. They don't pee inside the house anymore. They're pretty good at that. Every once in a while, they'll have a poop mistake. They'll have a poop mistake, but they don't pee in the house, really, hardly ever. Maybe once every 2 weeks, like one of them have an accident, but they really don't. And I'm like, did one of them come over here and pee underneath the table? And that's like not an area they would do it on anyway. And I'm like, this is so weird. And so I'm like, I pick up the table and I'm like, did my coffee, like, is it dripping through? Like, what is going on? I cannot figure it out. Has this ever happened to you? Like, you cannot figure it out. So I'm like, okay, maybe this table is broken and it's leaking and the coffee is leaking. I don't know what's going on. So I pick up the table. I'm like feeling under it. It's not wet. So I go and I take the table and I move it back to the chair and I put my coffee on the table beside the couch, right? Clean up the floor because the floor is wet underneath there. But it's just like one line where the table was. Oh, it's getting real windy. So I'm thinking, the table, like the coffee, something's going on, okay? Like this is not, okay, first of all, this is not a glass mug. It's not gonna leak, but I was like, is it broken? Or I couldn't figure it out. So Alex comes back and he sits in the chair. And I said, I'm so confused. And I go, did one of the dogs pee on the floor? No. I go, are you sure? He goes, I didn't see them pee on the floor. He goes, why? And I go, because the floor was wet. And he goes, oh. And I go, but then my coffee was wet. It's like literally, I went through this whole thing for like 3 minutes. And finally he starts laughing and I go, well, and I'm like so confused. Okay, I go, what is so funny? He goes, well, they were running around and they like knocked your coffee off, but I cleaned it up. I go, he goes, that must have been why it was wet on the floor. I go, well, how bad did it knock my coffee off? He goes, well, it knocked it almost off the table. I go, oh, well, that would explain it. Like, you could have explained that to me in 10 minutes. I could not figure out the mystery of the coffee cup to save my life. But anyway, what was I talking about before that? See, this is why I didn't want to tell the story of the mystery of the coffee cup, because I knew that that would sidetrack me onto whatever I was talking about. Shit, now I need to rewind this to find out what I was talking about. Therapy. I was talking about my goals. God, I looked at Walter because I was talking about Walter and he was up here with me during therapy and then I went downstairs and Otis was asleep in his house. He was so sweet. But anyway, so in therapy today, we were talking about, that's what I was talking about, that when I made the goal of like what I gave my energy to last year, like I realized how much of my energy I gave away, right? Well, I don't know how I forgot that process, that it wasn't just about, this is where it's the journey, not the destination, right? Which I know is so trite to say, but I love that saying because it's so true. But it's like, it wasn't just about achieving the goal. It was like the work that you do to get there. That what I realized was, in trying to achieve that goal, how much of my energy I give away to things that don't matter. Well, likewise, this year, my very simple goal of focusing on the positive, which sounds like a pretty simple goal, don't you think? Like, if given the option of a positive in your life and a negative, focus on the positive. It sounds pretty easy, right? Oh my God. I like to think of myself as a pretty positive, peaceful person. Do you know what I mean? But since I've set this goal and I've really worked hard on it, like, I feel like a magnet that's getting pulled to the negative, and I will be like, no, like, I stop myself. Like, I literally, like, I love the pause button. I will pause myself and be like, you are not gonna go negative with this. Like, you are not gonna allow yourself to go. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I mean, I know people in my life that are literally like just angels on earth that are so peaceful and so calm and so positive. They're my role models, okay? Like, I want that energy. Like, I feel like I'm still driven to distraction and chaos, like, and negativity. Like, I feel like as much work as I've done, I was telling him this today, I feel like, when do I get there? He goes, well, you'll never get there completely. He's like, but as long, and I'm like, we're both laughing. I'm like, I'm so frustrated with it. And he's like, because he asked me for an example, and all these people like have these like bright neon, this guy, I think it's two women, they're running these hoodies, and it's like bright green, like that woman's coat the other day. I need to get some of that neon stuff to walk in. But anyway, I couldn't think of an example at first, and then like randomly I was like, what was the example I used with him? It was so silly what the example was, and I was like if I told it to you, what was it? If I told it to you, it was so random. What was it? Oh, okay. Well, I wanted this soup the other day. So I have these Gardein soups in the closet. Well, around Christmas, I went through, and the Gardein soups are like plant-based soups. But they have like sausage gumbo, it's plant-based sausage. They have chicken noodle soup, plant-based chicken. And I love these soups. Well, I wanted one of them the other day with like my wrap and salad and stuff. I just was really craving soup. It was like cold outside. And I went in there, and I had just cleaned these out, like at Christmas time. And I love like peanut butter, I like to eat like, you know, the peanut butter crackers and stuff and the cheese crackers with that. So I had just gone through there. Like, I try to go through there like once a month, and like anything that's expired, get rid of. I had just gone through these soups, and I have a lot of cans of beans because I eat a lot of beans now and there and stuff like that, like black beans. And I had gone through there, and I had just gone through everything that was expired. I had one can of this chicken noodle soup left. And I looked on the bottom of it, and it expired like July of 2025. I got so upset about it because I really wanted this chicken noodle soup. Like, I was like, I'm like theorizing in my head, like, did you throw out the good one? Like, I got so focused on this can of soup. Like, I got laughing so hard about it in therapy today. I was like, that's an example, okay? As stupid as that sounds, it's something like that. Like, the big stuff, I feel like the big stuff, Tanya and I have talked about this for years. You know, like, the big stuff almost is kind of like, the big sad stuff, the big negative stuff is kind of easier to process than like going through fast food and you get home and you get the wrong order. Like, that can really like take me off the, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's this kind of stuff that can really spin me out of control. And I gotta be really careful of that stuff. Well, since I've focused on this goal of positivity for 2026, I'm really focusing, I've noticed like how in little ways throughout the day. And you know, I was telling him, what's interesting about that is that, let's say if I wake up and I feel pretty calm and I feel pretty peaceful, and I go through my day, and like, this is a good example. I'll get upstairs and I'll be on the bed and I'll have the camera out ready to film a video, and then I'll realize my phone or my glasses is downstairs. So I got to get up off the bed. I've already turned the camera off, go downstairs, get the camera, you know, the phone or whatever. It's like that, right? And like, but I'll focus, I'll be like, oh my God, I have to go all the way down. It's like little stuff like that. Well, if I'm not keeping myself in check, like little throughout the day, that little stuff can add up, and I can be real straight up right pissed off. I can. And so I got to keep it in check. Well, one of the things that is the problem with my goal being about focusing on the positive is I notice every little thing that I'm focusing on that's negative, which maybe in the long run, because he was saying in the long run it'll be good, because you'll notice how all the little stuff that you focus on that's negative is so stupid in the grand scheme of things, which it is, right? And I will notice it, and I'll let go of it easier. But in the process to getting there, you know, it's like, I mean, now it's easy for me to go do a long walk. I love doing it. But at first, like, do you guys remember? I'd be like, oh my God, if I just do 15 minutes or whatever, you know, like, it was hard to get me out there to do that. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in that stage right now where I'm like, I feel like I'm in the early stages of it, and it's like, I almost kind of, like, I'm really kind of like hard on myself. Like, I'm beating myself up. Like, why are you focusing on the fact that you left your phone downstairs? And then I'm like, and then I have to almost kind of talk myself through it, which is so stupid. Like, it takes you literally 2 seconds to go downstairs and get your phone. Like, you're not going to let this like don't let it affect your attitude and your mood so that for the rest of the day, you're in such a bad, you know what I mean? Like, but this is where these simple goals are really good. Like back in the day when I would make my goals of like, save this amount of money, pay this off, have the best body of my life, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, they weren't like realistic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they weren't measurable. I don't know, like, I was telling him this today, like, making these very simple, almost kind of like belief system, emotional, philosophical goals, like, has helped me because even though, like, that goal of, like, focus on the positive sounds so simple, it really isn't that simple of a goal. And not only that, like, okay, like, for years I've talked about focusing on positive comments versus negative comments. Like, that's an achievable goal that I can focus on. Like if I'm reading through the comments and I want to get like distracted by somebody leaves like, you know, says something like F you. I don't get really those comments, but let's just say if I did, right? Like that's a very specific goal that I could work on that specific goal, like not engaging in that or whatever, right? But when you're overall, like go through your day tomorrow and just in your head, like if you think it, notice how many times you think just, I'm not talking about severely negative, like cussing somebody out in your head. That's, I think, like pretty severe. Or actually acting it out and saying it. I'm talking about in your head, like how many times you go, like even if you wake up 5 minutes late, oh my God, I woke up 5 minutes late, my day is completely off. Like, I feel like that's focusing on the negative, not the positive, you know? Like, the positive would be, at least I didn't wake up half an hour late. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like when you go through your day and that's your goal to focus on that, you realize, or I've realized, how much I focus on the negative. And I think of myself as a really positive, peaceful person. So today he was like, okay, we got to pull it back. You are a positive person. You are a peaceful person. You know, like, you're going to get through this. And on the other side, at the end of the year, just like we talked about, I said, did we talk about, he goes, yes, Peter. He goes, I can remember us talking last year about like how much energy you were giving to things that didn't deserve it. He said, you still talk about it today. I go, yeah, that's true. He goes, so next year at the end of the year, he goes, you'll be talking about like, you didn't realize how much attention you gave to negativity in your life and how far you've come. And I was like, that's true. So it's all worth it to me. But anyway, I will say like my walks, like there were a couple days where I didn't walk because of the weather and we had stuff planned and whatever. I like that really kind of derailed. I feel like it's the sky in the window, but I thought it was like, or maybe he is in the living room watching TV or something. Anyway, it really derailed me. Like I'm so used to my walks now. Like the walks on a physical level for me, it's whatever. I mean, yes, it helps with all that for me. But on an emotional level, like it really clears my head. Like it really does. Like I don't think my mom, like in retrospect, my mom was a big walker. I don't think, like my mom loved to walk and she'd walk fast and stuff like that. And I mean, she would talk about it from like a health point of view of like, as she got older, she wanted to be more active. But I also think for her, it brought a lot of peace of mind. Like that's the thing that I notice on my walks. It's one of the reasons why I really like listening to music rather than listening to audiobooks, which is why I have such a hard time getting through these audiobooks anymore. At first, I loved listening to my audiobook. Well, at first I liked music, then I switched to audiobooks and I love that. But I mean, if I get into an audiobook, I'm a half an hour into my walk, then it's almost kind of like I don't want to stop. You know, like a couple people have been like, how do you walk for so long? It's interesting because some people have reached out to me and been like, how do you walk for so long? And other people are like, oh my God, I'm walking like as long as you are now. You know, if I'm listening to music, truth be told, I probably don't walk as long as if I'm listening to an audiobook. If I'm listening to an audiobook, and some of my neighbors that walk, I mean, some of my neighbors walk like an hour and a half, 2-3 times a day. They don't really have a lot more to do. They'll walk in the morning, they walk after lunch, and they walk in the evening before they settle down. And they all listen to, a lot of them listen to podcasts in here. And so they'll say, well, I'll listen to an entire podcast, and when it's done is when I stop my walk. It's kind of like that with my audiobook. Like, as I'm walking with my audiobook, like, I'll just be like, one more chapter. With James Patterson books are easy because a chapter is like 4 or 5 minutes. So I'll be just like, okay, one more chapter, one more chapter, one more chapter. And then I'll be like, okay, one more chapter, then I'm gonna turn this street. That's kind of how I do it. Well, that's how I end up like walking for so long, especially like if I'm in a book that I'm loving. I don't know why I always go back to this book, but the Matt Haig book, The Life Impossible, that I read this year, I remember I walked back there when I was reading it down that street. I think I read that book so fast, or listened to it so fast on Audible, because I just was so into it. Like, it was about this woman, and her husband died, and she was retired, and somebody left her a house in Ibiza, and so she moved down there. It was magical realism, but I just loved that book so much. He has a new book coming out, I think, next month. I haven't read all this stuff. I read The Midnight Library. There's one other book of his that I read, and then I read The Life Impossible. I love Matt Haig's work. So if I get into a book, like I'm kind of hoping that with the Laura, after I finish this James Patterson book, I'm going to start the Laura Dave book. The last Laura Dave book, though, I read, I did not like. But this is the sequel to the one I loved. It's a Reese Witherspoon book for this month. And then once I get done with that, I'm like kind of surprised that Battery hasn't gone to the halfway mark yet. I want to listen to the Dan Brown book. I've got to finish these James Patterson books, so I've got so much to read. I've got the Cozy Mystery book, the James Patterson book, the 2 books for Mel and I's read-along, the Kathy Reichs books. And then, well, I already started Identical, but I'm reading that, the physical copy book of that, with the, what's her name? I can't think of her name. Crank, but Ellen Hopkins. I love Ellen Hopkins so much. So that's the band book, Band and Challenge Book Club book. I've got a lot to read. And Last Mom Standing, the apocalyptic book. And I've got to finish Christmas Corpse. My goal is, I'm at 60% of Christmas Corpse. My plan is to read 10% a day and then finish it on Sunday night. Christmas Corpse by Mona Marples. I love that book. I would read the rest of the season, but I think I'm going to, or the rest of the series, but I think I'm going to wait till next Christmas and read it. I need to keep a list of the books that I really liked this year. So that'll definitely be one series I pick up. Jacqueline Frost will put out another one. But anyway, yeah, I like on my walks, if I'm listening to an audiobook, I just want to keep on going and going and going. I don't know. I think at first I start like, it's better for me, honestly. Like if I start, like when I step off, I like hit my thing and I like step off and I start it so I time myself. It's better if I start right away with my audiobook. Sometimes if I start my audiobook inside, but if I start listening to music, I usually, like, if I start music, I'll listen to, like, as I go in and out of the streets in just our neighborhood, I'll listen to all music, and then I'll be like, as soon as I get out of here, I'll start listening to my audiobook. Well, sometimes that's 40 minutes. I can walk up and down these streets in here for go around twice, up and down, 40 minutes. So, at least 35, 40 minutes. So, I won't listen to music until then. Once I get outside the neighborhood, then I get in a book. Then I don't really want to stop the book, and I keep on walking further and further and further. Like, that's the other thing, like, the long-distance walking. It's like, once you walk, I mean, you have to walk back. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to walk back. Somebody asked me one time, I think I might have talked about this. They asked me in a Q&A if I ever had to like have Alex come pick me up on a walk. One time I had to go to the bathroom so bad, I texted him. I was like, and I think it was starting to rain really hard too. This was like early in the summer, I think. I was like, can you please pick me up? I was walking so fast back to the house and I still had like a mile to go. And I texted him, I was like, can you please come pick me up? I have to go to the bathroom so bad. I almost did not make it back to the house. I was like, should I go behind a tree? But like, I'm in a neighborhood. What am I going to do? I'm not going to just go behind a tree. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I'm not. Like, we're in a suburban neighborhood. I wouldn't even go into the woods and do it. It'd make me nervous as hell anyway with serial killers. Last night, took a great nap, got up, and read before my nap, read before I went to bed this morning in bed on my Kindle. I love it. It's my favorite part of the day. Oh, the dogs were very, very sweet last night. Oh, this is what happened last night. So Alex and I think it was halfway through we were watching Salt Lake City, and I was like, let me take the dogs out. My neighbor next door, I felt so bad for him. So they wanted to be completely done as of last night. Well, I don't even know what time this was, but he had made so many drives back and forth. There's like cars coming down. Oh, I know that this is my neighbor 2 down from me. I was like, why is this car going so slow down the street? But there's another car turning in front of it though. This would be so funny if this is my neighbor. They're stopping literally right in front of my house. What is going on? They stopped right in front of my house and looked right over here. I couldn't see who it was. The camera stopped, which would mean I was at the hour, except that I stopped at 18 minutes. So we should be at like 48 or 49 minutes right now. But anyway, oh, they're turning around. What are they doing? I'm wondering if this is my new neighbors. Or somebody at my new neighbors like coming there to see their house. Yeah, because they're parking right in front. It must be. Okay. They've been over there all day today. I think this is rather quick, but I'm excited to see who they are. I've been like out in the driveway a lot today trying to see who they are, but they've been inside working on stuff. They have people working on their house. So, but like they moved out last night. So they already started moving in today. Well, last night my neighbor was over there, the World Traveler guy. His wife was done, so she was not coming back. he kept on finding stuff in the house. Like, he found stuff in the kitchen. He found like 6 lamps in the house. They just had different places. He had all this stuff in the garage. So he brought the dog with him. So we will miss him. We will miss little Buddy, the Beagle Basset Hound. We will miss Buddy. But he had Buddy in the back seat with him. And so he's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit. He had the car, it's just like, he had an SUV packed. He goes, I don't think I'm going to be, Peter, I don't know what I'm going to do. He was so worn out. I felt so bad for him. He was so tired. What is going on? They keep on turning around and driving up down the street. He was so tired. I felt so bad for him. And he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do because I don't think I can fit this stuff. What is going on? There's like all these cars like turning around. Like, so our street goes like this and then goes like that. And like right at this part, there's like all these cars turning around. I wonder if it's people coming to see my neighbor's new house, like friends of theirs or something like that. Anyway, I said to him, I go, he looked tired. I said, I'm really worried about you. He goes, I don't want, it was like a 45-minute drive back there and forth. He goes, because we have to be out of here tonight. He goes, but I don't really want to drive over there and drive back. I said, you're not driving back over there again tonight and back. I said, what do you need me to do? And he like had quite a bit of stuff. And he's like, I just don't think I can fit it in the car. And I said, here, we're just going to put it in my garage. So we opened up the garage door. The problem is our garage is kind of a mess, like on either side. But I moved a bunch of stuff around. I told Alex is like, well, do you need me to help? He was like, because we both love them, you know? And I was like, no, I've got the stuff. I said, but is there anywhere else? So we were like, Alex and I were trying to like figure out other places. So we got all this stuff in the garage. He's gonna come in like the next 2 days and like come and pick it up. I felt so bad for him when he left last night. What is going on? I feel like it's like, do you hear that? Oh my God, it must be my new neighbors and they're like welcome into their new house. Like, it's so cool, I love that. I haven't even met them yet, I'm so excited. The battery just went to the halfway mark. But did you hear that? It kind of reminded me of my mom, like when her friends would come over here and stuff like that. Oh, I'm excited to meet them. But anyway, so we like hugged each other last night. And he was like, we got to keep in touch. I was like, yeah, I've already got plans. You know, with his wife, I've got plans and so does she. And so, but he left. He looked so tired last night. He was like, I'll be over here tomorrow. I said, listen, it's just in our garage. I said, it's some lamps. He had like this old like tool thing and like this plastic thing. And then he had like the air fryer from the kitchen, but it was like an old air fryer and some stuff. I was like, listen, and it was like he had a painting in there and stuff like that. I was like, do you need this stuff? Right? He's like, no, not at all. I go, get settled, take your time. I said, we want to see you guys anyway. When you're around here, just come pick it up. I said, I'm here all the time anyway, I don't leave. And I was like, you know that? And he was like, yeah. He goes, well, we'll just text you. I said, there isn't, because he's always real worried about it. I said, there's no hurry whatsoever. So anyway, that was that. When I got up from my nap last night, so I wanted to watch a movie. I didn't realize until I was watching this movie, like how much I had to watch last night. I was like, I got 1,000 Pound Sisters, but I'm going to do this. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to do my top 15 TV shows, so I don't have to watch 1,000 Pound Sisters. So I ended up watching, a lot of people have reached out to me and asked me to watch The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia, this documentary. Okay, I mentioned in a lot of my videos through the years that it's one of my favorite documentaries, so, which is interesting, but the documentary girl, who I actually follow on Instagram and Facebook, I think, I love her. She gives a lot of documentary recommendations. She watches like 3 or 4 documentaries a day. Who is texting me? Do you hear the church bells in the distance? Anyway, I love hearing the church bells. That's our old doorbell, by the way. Dun, 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 dun. Did anybody have that doorbell growing up? What is that song? Why was it everybody's doorbell when we were growing up? Is it the Close Encounters of a Third Kind thing? Anyway, I think it is. But that was our doorbell when we were growing up, too. I think that's what... Anyway, now there's sirens. A lot is going on tonight. But, so I watched that documentary last night, because everybody... So, people were, like... People kept on asking me to watch it, and then somebody sent me, and I was like, oh, that's why people are all of a sudden talking about this documentary again. It's because she must have reviewed it. I love her reviews, and I get a lot of recommendations from her, too. Because she doesn't just watch new stuff. She watches old, like, she does a lot of true crime documentaries. So I watched that last night. It's free on Tubi right now. I only had one ad in 1 hour and 28 minutes. I did my whole reaction to it on my movie channel today. When I originally watched it, I've watched it so many times through the years. I used to think it was hilarious. It made me kind of, there was parts of it I still did think were hilarious. But it kind of made me sad last night watching it. So then when I got done with that, well, I told Alex yesterday because we were talking about heated rivalry and he was asking me what I thought. And I said, I don't know. I said, does the emotionality of it like grow and change? Because it seems very much just like two guys that hooked up over sex. Do they fall in love? He goes, you're going to love the third episode. So I started watching the third episode last night, which is a completely different couple. But I only got like halfway through it. And then I wanted to watch Vera. Because I had one episode of Vera left to watch before. At that point, it was like 3:30 in the morning. And it was like, if I finish this episode of Vera. And I knew that in between I was going to take the dogs out. So it's like 15 minutes, you know. So it's 5:15. I had one episode of season 2 of Vera. So I stopped watching Heated Rivalry. I'll probably watch some of it tonight. And then I also want to watch the new season on Netflix of that jail experiment where they leave all the guys out. Did you guys remember when I watched it last year? Oh, I think it's season 2 is out. I didn't realize there was going to be a season 2 because the season 1 was so controversial with, they were saying it should never have been made and who made money off of it and all this kind of stuff. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's called Something Project. Anyway, I loved it. I don't know why, but pizza from Puccini's just started sounding so good to me. Why did pizza? Oh my God, and their salads are so good. They have those cherry tomatoes and black olives in it with ranch dressing. Oh. If I go inside and say, do you want pizza? My husband will say absolutely yes in 2 seconds flat. I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to order it. You get it. I'm going to go on my walk. And that can happen when I get back. There's more cars coming down here, racing down here. Everybody must be coming to see my... Are they all going to this new house? The new house? I kind of love that. That says a lot about the new neighbors. If they have like all these people coming to see the new place in their first day. I mean, they're not moved in. There's nothing in there yet. They've been like cleaning and doing stuff today. It was spotless before they moved out last night anyway. But I kind of love that a little bit. I don't know. It kind of like, here's another car coming. Are they coming too? It kind of tells me like what kind of people they're going to be. Which is friendly. I think they're friendly type people. But anyway, so then I watched Vera last night. I finished season 2 of Vera. We finished season 3 of Loot. I finished so many shows already. Sadly, the Stranger Things season 5, episode 9 did not come out last night. It was all conspiracy. It was all fake conspiracy. And I wanted to believe it so bad. I really did. So, that was last night. Tonight I'm going to take my walk. Here's another car coming down the other way. Oh no, I know who that is. Some of the cars I know there's only like one of those in the neighborhood. One of those, like, what's they call, the Soul, or whatever, those square cars. There's only like one of those in the neighborhood. Should we give out some shout outs to people? Whenever I give some shout outs to people, people always love that. Who's texting me? Okay, let's give some shout outs in the house. Shout outs in the house. Okay. Let's see. I want to look at the watch time on my vlogs to see if y'all are being faithful. You are. Look at that. Oh my Lord, the watch time. Okay. Who is the most recent comment since I've started vlogging? Oh, it was Lana from an hour ago. Hey, Lana. And Amy. Gio said, love the idea of some retreats, weekend getaways, etc. in 2026. This is going to be our year of travel. We just do not know where yet, but lots of weekend retreats. See, I like to take long trips, okay? I've got to get very used to the idea of like, because so Alex can do a meeting from anywhere on Friday mornings, and he can work remotely. He can really work remotely throughout the week if he wanted to. I've got to get used. Alex is like, we should like fly out on a Thursday and then fly back on a Monday. I'm like, okay, so we're going to do a lot of that this year, I think. Anna Nicole, she said, LOL, I love The Gilded Age. Alex is obsessed with that show. I hope they are coming out with more seasons. Happy New Year, Peter. Happy New Year, Anna. By the way, it's my birthday today. Happy birthday, Anna. Happy birthday, Anna. Happy birthday to me, she said. Oh, and people keep on asking me why I haven't said it on here. Because who's walking down the street? Oh, it's my neighbor getting the mail. Pool crew lady husband number 1. Pool crew lady number 1's husband. Because I've forgotten to say happy birthday, Lena, and happy birthday, Anna. Somebody said, are the world travelers the same people as the garden lady across the street? Now, come on now. How long have you watched my... No. we know that World Travelers, Gardener and the Griller, Laura, Pool Crew Lady #1 and her husband, Pool Crew Lady #2 and the husband. I don't know what their new nicknames are. The World Travelers are gone. No, it's not the same person, but thank you for asking. I just started The Crow Trap, which is first Vera book, and it's really good so far, said JoJo. Okay, JoJo, I just watched the episode called The Crow Trap. So I know what book you're reading, because I just finished that up. Well, that wasn't just, what episode was it? Was it season 1 or season 2? Well, it must have been season 1, but I don't feel like it was the very first one that I watched, because I remember it. It was about, I don't want to ruin it for you at all, but it was about, they were trying to get land. Honey, the land. It was about land. And this environmental group. I remember that one. Because I remember seeing the title come up, and I was like, what does this have to do with crows? That's a good one. That was a really good one. I want to go back and read the books, but I feel like I've already... JoJo, do you watch the show? Let me know. Oh, I didn't tell the story of Yellow the dog, or JoJo the dog. JoJo was my mom. We went to garage sale. My mom was part of this group when I was growing up. It was like, I don't know, some kind of like women's group. It was called the Try-In. And they had these big garage sales. And my mom said I could pick out anything from this garage sale that I wanted. And I got this stuffed animal, and I called it JoJo. And it has these big legs on it. I still have it upstairs. It is the most, when I got it, oh, it just started raining. I can feel it in my foot. And I'm getting ready to be done so I can go on my walk. It is the most rundown stuffed animal you've ever seen in your entire life. It was rundown when I got it. My mom was like, are you sure you want to get this? I think I got that JoJo the doll and the Lonely doll. I got those two. Yep, I can feel it. It's raining on my feet. I got those two things at the little Try-In garage sale, and I have them both to this day. The Yellow the dog was my grandma. It was one of her friends, probably one of her prison friends. I didn't even know. She crocheted me these two stuff. Not my grandma. My grandma didn't crochet. One of her friends when I was born. These two stuffed animals, Mrs. Blue and Yellow the dog. So Mrs. Blue was big and puffy, and it was like a crocheted stuffed animal, and she was just like this dog, and she was like blue. She was always stuffed her whole life. I was never real attached to Mrs. Blue. Yellow the dog had these little ears, kind of like Walter's. And I used to suck my thumb and I would like edge on it is what I called it. So anyway, but Yellow the dog I carried with me literally everywhere. This was before, the story is before my parents got separated. I carried Yellow the dog with me everywhere, okay? Yellow the dog lost all of his stuffing and stuff like that, so he's real skinny. I still have him upstairs if you guys want to see him sometime. But anyway, so one Sunday, so the church we went to was downtown, and it was like, had all these, so the church sat on like a corner like this. My dad would always like park up again, like in front of these like houses that were way up on this hill, and there was like this drainage ditch. Well, one Sunday we came out of church and we left, and we got home, and I had lost Yellow the dog, okay? But he still had some stuffing on him then. I was like panicked. And so my dad went down there that night with like a flashlight and stuff and found Yellow the dog like in the drainage ditch and like reached down there and got him and had to like wash him. And he has been threadbare ever since then. I have kept Yellow the dog. I mean, he's 53 years old to this day. I have him upstairs in the closet to this day. I will never get rid of Yellow the dog. Because my parents would tell these stories about like you would not ever let go of this Yellow the dog. So that's the story of Mrs. Blue and Yellow the dog. Anyway, I don't even know where Mrs. Blue is today. She probably found a new home at a garage sale that my mom had. But anyway, JoJo, let me know if the books are different than the show. Does anybody know that? I feel like they're probably not a lot. But I've noticed that recently it says based on the characters of Vera. So where do they stop turning the books into the TV shows? Because that's where I want to start reading. Somebody said, if I say somebody said, that means I don't know how to read your profile name, which is at Gowns. I don't know. Gowns. I like Gowns. She said, I love putting your videos on in the background while I do. I love that. Being part of somebody's routine means so much to me. Thank you. Brady said, I love your honesty and vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. You and Alex are so special. Oh, thank you. Donna said, the Traders knew tonight. That was 4 hours ago. We watched the preview for it tonight. Oh, we will watch that tonight. Is it come out tonight? Why do I feel like it comes out tomorrow? Jolene said, you can tell your gardener neighbor my bulb flowers here in Washington are sprouting too. It's early for daffodils. She has daffodils. I wonder if that's what those are. Alexis said, I am the same way with Sabrina Carpenter. I don't love her songs, but her voice is so beautiful. There's a really unique tone to it that scratches a particular itch in my brain. Okay, so I'm kind of weird about musicians. Like, sometimes I don't love them at first. Like, Lady Gaga, I loved her at first, but like some of her songs like had to grow on me. Like, Born This Way, I hated at first, then it grew on me. I feel like every one of Lady Gaga's songs kind of has to grow on me over time. Sabrina Carpenter, I could care less about her at first. I'm really now starting to kind of like Sabrina Carpenter. When I listen to her live, I really, really like her. So I don't know. I don't really know. Alex listens to some of her stuff. Madison Beer, every time I get in Alex's car, he plays her whole album. Madison Beer, that TikToker girl, is so good. You want to talk about club-worthy dance music. It is good. That Madison Beer, I downloaded one of her songs recently. Who's walking down my street talking? Is it one of my neighbors? Oh no, it's somebody walking on the street. What's this song called? Here it is. 15 Minutes. 15 minutes ago, I was still in bed. Do you guys know that song? Oh my God. That album is so good. No, truly it is. Don't call me Truly Brown. I can't believe this is still going. Okay. Brady said, let's start walking and... What? What do you mean walking and talking? Oh, are you walking and I'm talking? Or what? Okay. Somebody said, hi Peter, I may have missed it, but how long have the neighbors that are moving lived across the street from you? Well, they live next door, so we share a wall with them. I don't know, that must have been confusing when I explained it. Nobody across the street's moving. It's the ones next door that we share a wall with. I don't know, I was talking to him about it last night. I think like 7 years. I think they were living here. I mean, somebody that's watched my first 2 years of the vlog, well, you know what? Like, I forget that I was driving when I first vlogged. So I probably wouldn't have talked about them except for maybe in reference to something. Because I wasn't sitting in the front porch vlogging, you know what I mean? So I don't really remember. I think he said like 7 or 8 years. I think they lived here when I first started filming videos. Because I don't think that the old neighbors that lived here, I think they were already moved out. I think she lived here. So he moved here from St. Louis. He worked another year. This was funny. Okay, so Laura's grandma used to think that she was single and she lied about having a husband. Yeah, they lived here before I started YouTube. Because, I'm almost positive. Because Laura's grandma used to think that she was lying. Because she would get like a real kick out of it. So she moved in here a year to be close to her daughter. They moved in here before their first grandchild was born. And he's in 2nd grade now. He always wears cowboy boots. My neighbor, pool crew lady number 1, just got home. Her husband's already home, but she just got home. So he's in 2nd grade. Or is he in 3rd grade? But anyway, so she lived here for a year first. The battery is flashing. And then he moved in here. But everybody thought she was single first before she moved in here. So they lived in here before I started making videos on YouTube. Should I do a whole video answering your questions? Put your questions in the comment section below and I will respond to your questions. We will address these issues and answer these concerns and any questions. Where's she going? She pulled right back out. Oh no, he's leaving now. Probably to go pick up food or something. She came in and he left. Anyway, I hope you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. I'm going to try to go on a walk. It feels like it was maybe sprinkling and it stopped, so I'm going to still try to go on a walk. Hope you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you guys. Of course, I'll see you tomorrow for the beginning of the weekend. I love you guys and I'll see you then. Bye. Love ya.